Welcome to another episode of That Crazy Triangle Guy. Here we are looking at Bitcoin US dollar index on the daily time frame. And somewhere underneath all these lines is Bitcoin price action. But don't worry, we are going to take off all these lines and show you what's going on here. All right, so I've gotten rid of most of those lines here. What's left? First of all, let's go over these vertical lines. These vertical lines, the yellow ones, are future CPI data releases. The most current one will be June 12th, same day as our FOMC meeting. That's why this line is yellow and fuchsia colored. This green vertical line is when I have predicted for like almost the past year that our parabolic bull rally will start. Now, the other lines we have here, the other blue vertical line is the halving. It's when our halving occurred, and I have other halvings in the past marked off here too, which you might see. Now, these dotted curvy lines represent the daily Gaussian channel. I did that so that I wouldn't have to have the distortion of the that comes with when you turn the Gaussian channel on and off. So that's currently that. I'm going to erase those here in a second because we don't really need them right now. We've had our interaction with this channel and are currently breaking out from it. Now, could we come back down around the CPI data release, back down maybe to the mean band around 65? Possibly if we get some sort of bad numbers or something. So I'm not ruling that out, but let's turn those off now as well. All right, the lines we have left here. First of all, this light blue line here is the 21-week moving average, simple moving average, which we tend to stay above. Actually, we do stay? Yeah, we have stayed above, I should say, during our bull market. And these white horizontal lines, the top horizontal line is the previous cycle's all-time high at 68,997. I put that. And the other white lines are alerts that I have set to go off if price happens to come down. Here, the first one's set at the mean band, and the other one is set, I forget where, but somewhere down here that is important. Oh, I set it just above the blue line here, just in case. Just in case something very traumatic happened that would cause us to wick down below the blue line. Anyway, you can set those up here on TradingView. I don't know if you know that. And right here, we press this plus button at the bottom. And I don't want to, you can see the second box on the left says alerts. So that's where you can set that up. And you can set them with various notifications. You can have your computer by your bedside and have it make various sounds when those alerts are hit. So you don't get all your money taken from you in the middle of the night or something like that. So I can't remove those unless I've tried to figure out how to remove those. But I'd have to disable the alert, and I don't want to go through all that. So those are just going to have to stay there. Now, the white parallel channel is, you should notice, I've gone over this many times, is the most important channel in Bitcoin history. And you can see, and recently here we fell below it, and now we struggled to get, we had a real struggle here to get inside it. I was watching it on the 5-minute chart. It was just amazing. But now we are back inside it and holding as support. Even had a little, just right on the line there. but now we are currently holding it as support and trading within that channel. So I really do expect that to continue unless something really horrible happens. And the bottom of that the bottom of that here, it's above 68. It's quickly approaching our previous cycle's all-time high for a bottom. Now we'll just go back over time and see how Bitcoin price has interacted with that. See, we can see we've been well below it for quite some time, and it's only most recently that we've started interacting with it again. But as we go back in time, you can look at price action with regard to the 21-week moving average too here. See, look at our interaction with the white channel here during our bear market in 2022. We had this little rally over the summer. So keep that in mind. Little rally over the summer through to August. I think that's probably what's going to happen now, and that we might see a pullback again at the end of August, September, maybe. But you can clearly see how this has acted as resistance here back in 2022, and support right here. We dumped right down to the top there. You can even see that it acted as support here. This line is very, very significant. And as we scroll back here, you can see now Bitcoin price action interaction during the bull market with the 21-week moving average here. Okay, I'm trying to move. And actually right here, you know what? Having this on auto is nice, but also a pain. Our channel and the 21-week moving average followed each other here, so they both held as support. So you can just clearly see Bitcoin's interaction with the channel here. That was back during COVID. I mean, you can't make this up. When we dumped down here, what stopped us? Well, both. Actually, that's really funny. Again, the 21-week moving average and the white channel, the top of the white channel where they both intersected. So that could be a sort of a timing, a way to time things. And as we go back, we didn't have a lot of interaction, but still do at key points in Bitcoin's history. During the bear market, it stops us. We consolidate briefly there. And during the bull market, we consolidate briefly on the way up. Always in that channel. Anyway, and so that's what we're doing now. In our bull market, before every parabolic bull rally, we have some sort of interaction with this channel. Here it held as resistance, and then we broke through, and even the top of it acted as resistance here. And when we broke through, our bull rally continued. Now, arguably it started way back here, but it had been this channel that was holding us down for months and months and months. And even here, you can see that even when we had this breakout, we came back down and retested the top of the channel here before continuing this dramatic bull rally here. So I guess, yeah, you could argue that it didn't even really start till here, but whatever. I don't want to have an argument. Every time before significant moves upwards, we had some interaction with this channel, and it blocked us while we had significant move downwards as well. Now here, what's interesting in 2020 and 2021, or not quite 21, but we just held support. We bounced along the top of the channel for quite a while, for many months before one final bounce and off to the races there. And then it had held as support and resistance back here. Currently, we are back up in it. Now, what is going to be our interaction with this channel this time around? You can see we tried to break above it, had some consolidation in it for a while, it even acted as resistance here, and now we are currently in the lower portion of that channel. So certainly, I believe we will move to the top of the channel. That's currently around $80,000. So note, we've had significant interaction with the channel here. I think we probably do something like 2020 and have some sort of consolidation on the top of this channel. And before our bull rally really, well, two ways to look at it. So if I'm right, and this is when the bull rally starts, as soon as we break above here, come down and retest it, we could be off to the races. But we're kind of getting a little bit out here now. You know what? Honestly, what I think is going to happen, because I'm looking to the future and the next bear market. I don't think Bitcoin is going to come below $90,000 in the next bear market. And in order for that to happen, price action has to build up structure in this area here. So now this asterisk here isn't marking any, it's marking the vertical line as a FOMC meeting. Every other FOMC meeting is a summary of economic projections, and that just marks that this is one of those meetings. But I expect we come up to about 100 here, and over the summer we rally up to 100 and come back down in 99. Have some more consolidation in this area. And I'll explain another indicator that's another signal, something else that's signaling that may occur. Okay, we've gone over that. Now let's, we have these two green lines here. I've gone over all the lines except these two green lines. And you can see that currently those lines are acting as resistance and support. And the lower green line, you can see here on a daily time frame, almost hits the wicks of these candles. Now, when I placed that there, it's really funny because it's not really exact on those wicks. We have to move to a maybe an hourly time frame. You can see why I placed those there. I placed it on, not on the upper wick, but on these, kind of on these lower wicks here. And then also, if we can get to it, kind of over here on these lower wicks. But on the next contact point, I placed it because it kind of just chops right through it here, where it was acting as support and resistance here. It kind of a weird placement of it, but it was really, really funny because it had been there. It had placed it there prior to price action coming up here. And you can see, because I was setting a line of resistance that was signaling to me that this rally was going to continue and that it had some legs to it. So that's why I placed that line there. And it's really funny that we just about you know, came down exactly on it as support and resistance here on an hourly time frame. Now, I placed the second line here because although this was signaling to me that this has some legs to it, until we break through this line, it's still a good chance, or there's still a chance that we come back down again. And you can see that clearly we came up here and stopped. We got a rejection there at that line. Now, these lines have been there before price action was anywhere near here. Now, why did I place that second line there? Because it's the top of here. I always make my lines parallel. So when you have something here and you got price action that goes through a line that's over here, whether it's a parallel channel or that's marking like a flag pattern or something like that, a lot of times when you draw those channels, you don't get all the price action. You got little things sticking out. So this little thing sticking out, you got to extend the channel up to there. And we're not really, there's still a chance of rejection as long as we haven't broken that, and we haven't broken it yet. So could come down some more, probably back down to our previous all-time high. You know what? Let me turn the Gaussian channel back on for a second. Yeah, the top of the Gaussian channel's right there. So, yeah, we could very well come back down here over the weekend, possibly heading into the FOMC meeting. So, look for that to happen. Definitely. I think we're just warming up here. We're just warming up and getting ready. What's important to note is I got to switch to a different time frame here. Well, and I'm going to have to bring on more of my lines, I think. So let me pause this. All right, so I've turned on the blue channel group, and what I'm going to do is, for right now, I'm going to take away the most important channel in Bitcoin history. I'm going to leave those green lines. Oh, and I can take away the... Well, you know what? Maybe I'll leave the Gaussian channel lines there for now, because you can see that also the bottom of the Gaussian channel is currently interacting with the bottom of the blue channel. So if we got horrible news next week, a week from today, we could come back down to the bottom of the Gaussian channel at, well, it's really, well, I was going to try to get really accurate here, but, well, if we came down to the blue channel, 61,777. Anyway. $61.5 to 62, let's say. And that would still be above our 21-week moving average. You can see they're all intersecting here. So very bad news could bring us all the way down there. Just keep an eye out. And I'm not saying that's going to happen, but it's funny how the charts will set up for either, a move to the upside or a move to the downside. That they don't tell you really what's going to do, but they lay out where we could go depending on other factors that you have to factor in yourself. So we could come down to 60, 62 very reasonably, and it wouldn't be a bad thing. And if we did come down here, it probably wouldn't be very long, and then we come back up. But it would represent like something, like we did back here. But it would represent an opportunity. So keep that in mind. But currently, we are not doing that. Currently, we are holding this as support. This is a very, very, very strong support here. And it's also, it's funny because, see, this is interacting with the top of the daily Gaussian channel. So this is very strong support here. And this is very strong support down here. Bad news could take us down there. Good news will keep us up here. So it's just funny how all these things interact with one another. Now we're going to zoom out a little bit and see what is the significance of these blue channels, because I'm talking about them right here, but why are they there? The blue channels here, there's two parallel channels, first of all, the bottom of which, of both of them, are the same right here. And the darker blue channel is a shorter channel, and the larger blue channel is the lighter blue channel is a larger channel. And that's just the way I drew them. It's probably different ways of drawing them, but you know what? That's how I got it, and it's really working out like that. So anyway, these channels represent price action since September of 2022, when we found support on the top of this channel. Now, we did not know the channel was there yet, but that's where it started. That's where it all started. And you can see it acted as support there and acted as resistance there. And then the bottom of the blue parallel channel is the major support line that many were talking about all throughout the beginning of 2023, which we finally broke in August of 2022. Now I have I have a whole nother video on what this was all about here, because this scared a lot of people. They thought that this was a game changer and that we were coming down further. And, well, up until this point. And, yeah, that's when everybody was really, really negative. And I said, no, I said, you guys, we are about to start a significant bull rally like you've never seen before. Well, I mean, you've seen pretty significant ones in, previously in Bitcoin, but in the past, since here, since 2021, we didn't have any rally like we've just had. The point I was making was that it was even going to be bigger, a lot better than the 2023 one. And that's exactly what happened. And all these lines on the chart told me all that. Told me that as clear as day that that was about to occur. But that involves a lot of other channels that I haven't gone over in a long time, and I have to look at that old video and bring it up. But clearly you can see the interaction with these. I'm not going to go over this. I've gone over it time and time again. Clearly interaction with this blue channel here. So even in modern times here, we held support on the center line here of the bigger blue channel. Clearly. And we didn't quite make it to the bottom of the channel here, which is good. That's bullish. That's very bullish that we didn't make it all the way down there. Came close, said, we're going to get close, but we can't quite get there. And then clearly the center line of the lower blue channel has acted as resistance here. And we're sitting on it right now. We're currently sitting on the lower, or the center line of the lower blue channel. It's acted as resistance. We broke above it. We got resistance at the center line of the upper blue channel and came back down. Tried to hold the center line here of the lower blue channel. Fell below it one more time. See, that's why this wasn't this extended consolidation wasn't making any sense to me. And the reason why we got this, okay, first let's finish here. Because currently we're sitting right, we've broken through and we're holding it as support for now. But we're trying to hold it as support, rather, I should say. So it very well could come down and come back up and whatever. But it's a line of significance here to look for some sort of consolidation along as we move forward. This line as well. And that's up around $75,000. Yeah, this has been an extended rally or consolidation that has caught many of us off guard, and it was expected to have some sort of consolidation here because, well, I'm going to have to go to a weekly time frame to really show this. It's the when we hit our came back up to our previous all-time high after a bear market here. Many have shown this is a cup and handle pattern, whatever. But yeah, after a bear market and we come back up to our previous high, expect people to take some profits. People that bought in back up in this area. When it got back up there, it's like, hey man, I'm out. I'm taking my money and leaving this crazy ass shit. Or maybe they invested money they shouldn't have and have been waiting and really needed that money for all this time. And finally, they're like, man, I made my money back. I'm out of here. Thank God I got my money back. But anyway, so that's the case there. So it's extended. It's been extended consolidation for a couple reasons. First, the double top. There was a lot of price action here. A lot of price action back here. So a lot of people buying Bitcoin and holding on to it. And so that's one reason. The other reason is the macroeconomic factors, the inflation and stuff, and that's causing worry in people. And it just so happened. Well, our previous numbers back here were bad. I mean, they weren't bad, but they weren't great. So it's just got uncertainty in the market still. So it's dragging us sideways into the next FOMC meeting. And that happened. That has happened a lot, and it's been really frustrating. I've uh, what's the word? I've made clear my frustrations on how a lot of times we will just trade sideways into these FOMC meetings, and say everybody has to wait to see what Jerome Powell has to say before they make their market decisions. It's just so stupid. Um, anyway, I expect us to continue up in this blue channel, which is really, really nice because top of it is around $100,000 by not too far into July. So let's get the rest of my lines up here and we can wrap this up here. And I guess I can get rid of those two green lines right there. We don't need those anymore. All right, so we're almost completely naked now. And looking on the daily time frame, basically at the consolidation since March. Now, remember, we had this inverse head and shoulders right there. And the neckline and our target never hit our target. It's 75,000. But it looks like we're heading that way now. So we never had our target there because what we ended up having then was a head and shoulders pattern here, a smaller head and shoulders pattern right there. Now that did not play out, nor has our inverse head and shoulders yet. So we got tried to reverse. The bears tried to reverse us here. Said, nah, we are not going to let you go. But they failed. The bears failed. They should have brought us down here. Now, if we get bad news from the FOMC meeting, that's really, really funny. We could come all the way back down there. And where is that? That's right around 61,000. It's right around the bottom of the daily Gaussian channel. It's right around the bottom of the blue parallel channel right there. It's all right there. See how everything comes into play? So that certainly is a possibility. That's not out of the realms of reality here. If the bears were strong enough here, they could get us and see, that's what they were trying to do heading into the meeting, but it failed. If we get horrible news, maybe we could come crashing down here briefly. Maybe. Just saying. So, but that didn't happen. So the battle continues, and currently the bulls are winning. And from this inverse head and shoulders pattern, I developed a channel, this channel right here, that we are currently. A head and shoulders pattern, regardless of whether it's regular or inverse, simply reverses you from a downward sloping channel like this one into an upward sloping channel like the ones we have here. So that's what it's doing, and this is the channel that we would be traveling in. Let's get rid of the head and shoulders, guys. There we go. So you can clearly see, yes, we have been traveling upwards in these channels here. Basically I have two two smaller channels right here stacked on top of one another, and then another smaller one breaking this one in half. And that's what you do with these channels. You stack them on top of each other, and price action tends to go up here, maybe come down to the lower one, go up some more, whatever. These represent the slope that price action is trading as it moves up and sideways and whatever it wants to do. So currently, that's where we're going, upwards in those channels. Now, if we did come down, like I said, down to here, that would be breaking this. It wouldn't be really that good. And so we'd have to look at different things. So I don't think that's happening. I keep focusing. I mean, I just spend a lot of time talking about the negative things that could happen. I don't think they're going to happen, but I don't want you to. I'm not. I don't want you to think if it does happen that it's the end of the world, because it's not. The charts are saying it could happen, and it could happen and still not be the end of the world. We could come down to the mean band of the Gaussian channel, which is around here. So these three lines actually represent currently the Gaussian channel. Those are where I have my alerts set up, and just so happens the top of the previous bull market cycle is at the top of the daily Gaussian channel, and then this is where I have my alerts set up. So I can erase those. Just to give you a clear idea of what we're talking about. So yeah, even if we just kind of get news that isn't so great but not horrible, we could come down to the mean band of the Gaussian channel once again, and that would not be so bad, because it would be back to the bottom of this channel, and we'd probably just continue rallying upwards from there. Just be a brief pullback. So if any of these happen, don't freak out, because the charts say it's a possibility, is all I'm saying. But that's not what I think's gonna happen. Well, you never know. I mean, we may have some sort of brief pullbacks, but ultimately, I think that these pink channels here, or fuchsia colored channels, we will continue trading upwards in, whether we have any sort of pullbacks or not, and continue upwards in, bringing us up to the top of the blue parallel channels heading into July. We could very well be, if we come back up into the top of this fuchsia colored channel here, we start pumping, we could be at close at 96,000 by, well, you know what? I'm going to show something else with multiple channels here that I'm looking at. But yeah, could be around 96 to 100,000 by the end of June. Easily. But if that were to happen, I would expect a pullback and some consolidation here between 90,000 and 100. Well, probably here between, certainly at least between 86,000, 88, 89, maybe just below 90,000 and 100,000. We'd see some consolidation. And that would fall well in line with the theory that the next bear market isn't going to come down below 90,000 to 100,000, something like that. But if that were the case, if that were to play out like that, you know what's going to happen? We're going to have kind of like a hole here on the volume profile, which would be kind of weird going on. Now, remember, our price target was 75,000 from the inverse head and shoulders. So we could head up to about 75,000 into next week, over the weekend. If this rally continues, That would take us up to just over 75,000 by the FOMC meeting next week. Because I think the market is realizing this rally's coming to an end. We are going to move upwards from here, and they're realizing that the trigger is going to be the FOMC meeting. Once that's over, we're gonna be heading upwards, and I think they're just uh, um, getting ahead of it here, getting ahead of this move that's coming after the FOMC meeting. Front running is what I'm trying to say. Plus, all the Bitcoin's running out, man. Everybody's buying it up. This rally has really gone on way too long. We built up a lot of pressure. I mean, there's so much indicating a big move upwards. And you know what? I'm not going to get into the 5-day. Maybe I should briefly. But first of all, let's go over the rest of our channels. I'm looking at all those channels that were here in the very beginning. Now, we are heading up through those pink channels, mind you, fuchsia colored channels. But we also have these channels here. Now, those look kind of crazy, don't they? And why don't I take away the other two so we can better look at these channels here? And we'll even go to an hourly time frame, maybe. Just so you can see how we do interact with these channels here too. You can see how we acted as resistance and consolidation there, acted as support here, came down, acted as support here. So this is finer tuning the price action here. And we're stepping through these channels here. Acted as support, came up, center line is acting as resistance here. The top of the channel here clearly acted as resistance. Support here, support here. So these are finer channels that we are definitely moving across. On a more finely tuned basis. And here we are at today, actually. Very interestingly enough. Let's see, even to look at how we tried to hold the center line as support, and we're kind of falling through it right now. Is it already markets? Oh yeah, market opened quite a while ago. So yeah, maybe we're heading down a little bit today. I mean, I don't think we're gonna head down to, well, maybe a previous all-time high. Maybe we could head down to just continue down to retest the all-time high today. Looks like that might be what's happening. Anyway, let's turn on more channels here. So this is the channel that we are heading in from our inverse head and shoulders. And what these other blue channels simply do are guiding us through there. So if we did come back down there, I'd expect that then we would come back up. And I'd have to place another channel. But so what these channels are doing are guiding us through the pink channels. They will get us back into this upper portion of the pink channels here. So let's turn those guys off because they're just really kind of annoying. But they will guide us up into this area of the pink channel. Now, so there was a target. Well, first of all, 75,000. Yeah, I already talked about that. Maybe we'll get up there by the FOMC meeting, even if we do come up here, then expect a rally sometime end of the week or beginning of next week, maybe. So what's interesting to note is that, so this is why I got all the lines on my chart. While we are breaking this center line of this channel, those are kind of not so much lines in the sand. We're approaching the center line of this other fuchsia colored channel. So possibly we hold support there. And then maybe consolidate. We're looking at a 4-hour chart now. Maybe consolidate sideways between these two center lines for a while. Don't know. But something to consider there. Wow, and so then I just turned on the blue parallel channel too. So we got the blue parallel channel, which is a major one, and the fuchsia colored one, which is bringing us off of our inverse head and shoulders, and then the smaller ones that are bringing us through the fuchsia colored one. And so remember I said earlier we're right on the center line of the blue parallel channel. Well, okay, look at it, it's playing out right now as we're talking. So we did fall through the center line of the blue parallel channel and through the center line of this channel, but what saved us was the center line of the fuchsia colored channel. It saved us right there and is bringing us back up above the center line of the blue channel. That is so funny because it did something similar back here. We fell through the blue, and now we're looking on a 4-hour time frame. Back here in the 26th of May, we fell through, at the end of the weekend, we fell through the center line of the blue channel, and it started acting as resistance. But what happened is we found support on the intersection, the union of the two fuchsia colored parallel channels. We found support there, and it saved us and brought us back up briefly, albeit above the center line of the blue channel. And it's doing the same thing here, although it's the center line that's saving us thus far. And this candle, this candle ends in an hour and a half. Let's see, hourly. Look at that. Isn't that interesting? All right, so I've erased the other channels, and we are looking at the most important channel in Bitcoin history in white, and its group of supporting channels. Now, let's just go back in history and look at these guys. Well, you know what? I don't really want to do that. I don't want to have it on auto. Here, put that here. Let's look at it like this. So remember how I talked about back in August. Was it here? Yeah. In August when everybody thought it was the end of the world. It wasn't. We just simply came down, tested the bottom of this channel. That's all we did. You can clearly see how Bitcoin has interacted with all these channels that are perfectly parallel. Even most recently, look at this. Oh, this is in 2023, in the beginning of our bull rally. See, remember how I talked about this acting as resistance here? We just simply traveled in channels below it. And clearly this one did the same thing. Acted clearly as resistance there. And here. And here. And there. And support there. Finally acted as support here. Anyway, let's go back further. See, look at what we got going on right there, as well as up here. Ha! Look at that. Remember when we came back down there? Well, we came up here, there, there. Clearly finding parallel channels in parallel as support and resistance areas. So that's why that's the most important channel in Bitcoin history and its group of supporting channels. Oh, it's still going. Anyway, so that's that. Now, the reason I did show that is because over here. So our consolidation is, I mean, you can, I don't clearly know how to pull a target from here. Anyway, this target, because you can clearly see that, yeah, this held as support here. Where did our triangular pattern start forming? You can clearly see that we came all the way down here. So actually, when you have a triangular pattern forming, what it's really doing is it's just simply there's my cursor. It's simply when you're moving through a channel like this, you have a line that's blocking the price action through that channel. So that's simply what it's doing. And so then once we break out from there, what you tend to do is to come up to the top of the channel. Okay, so that's how we're going to draw the target. You draw a target parallel to the channular action, um, that is parallel to the top here and parallel to the channel itself. So that brings us up to, yeah, that's our target right there. Well, the target is this line here. So depending on when we hit it, could be 86,000 by next week. Anyway, that is the target up there. Currently we have it at about 82. But very well, we could be up at 86. Maybe that's a more reasonable expectation by the end of the month, approaching 90,000, 88, upper 85 to $90,000 range. That might be more reasonable. Anyway, I'm showing you a bunch of different things here. We don't know where we're going. Overall, we're going up. We're going up significantly. We're about to have a bust a move, maybe up to 86.90, maybe all the way up to 100 by the end of June. So we'll just have to see what the charts tell us. We also have, and I guess I can't go without saying this, on the 5-day chart, on the BBWP, the Bollinger Band Width Percentile, has been at extreme lows for a long time. Since the end of April. So all of May, yeah, for a very, very, very long time. And this is one of my favorite patterns that I got from Eric Crown Crypto, or one of my favorite setups from Eric Crown. It's probably his indicator, I don't know. Anyway, when the 5-day BBWP stays at extreme lows for a long time, it's setting up for a big explosion to the upside or downside. It's a bull market, so upside. He often goes, his premise is that it goes into the direction of the stochastic oscillator or some sort of momentum indicator. But in reality, what happens is that the momentum indicator ends up turning upwards or downwards as the breakout is occurring in the direction of the breakout. So you can't really go off of the oscillators. The oscillators are changing all the time, and they change based on what sentiment is at the time. So, but currently we are pointing upwards, and we're coming off of lows in the oscillators and heading upwards. So a big, huge explosion upwards. And what happens every time is that when this starts breaking out, this indicator starts breaking out, or expanding, I should say, from extreme lows. It's at 5.16%. Extreme lows, he considers below 10%. And so once we break above that, a lot of times you've already missed the move. You've missed the first half of the move at least. So it's key to be in ahead of time on this scheme here. Anyway, I just wanted to. I wouldn't be doing my job if I did not bring that up. So this has gone on long enough. look back at where we're at right now on the hourly. Seem to be up in the middle of limbo right now because we don't have any of our other channels turned on. Let's get rid of these. Let me scroll up. I'm on my computer. Let's turn on those guys. Wow, we really have to zoom in. So as you can see, wow, that acted as support there. We got support off that center line, and it propelled us up past the blue, and even let's see if it. Yep, we're above that center line too. Interesting, very very interesting how that played out. That's telling me kind of that we're going to continue on upwards here. Yeah, this is strong, strong, strong. Going to continue upwards here, I believe. Most probably. Oh, so I got to turn on these. These are our horizontal resistance right here. So most likely come back up here to about 71.7. We got horizontal resistance there, and at like 72.7. 71.7, 72.7. That little move right there told me we're probably going to continue upwards this way into the end of the week. And so what that is now, that's the top of our triangle pattern here. Let me turn on the triangle. I have that green line, the very, very, very tippy top of the triangle at like 73, close to 73, which is our, oh, we're on an hourly, so let's switch to like a daily. Here we are. And we can get rid of some of these lines. Let me pause and do that. Actually, no, I don't want to. I need those channels. So essentially too, we are in an ascending triangle. See, I showed how we were traveling in the channels that are parallel to this. That is true. However, we are also traveling in the blue channel, the big blue channel. So which channel do we have our breakout from? Arguably, it could be that we have our breakout from this blue channel, and that we are this line here, or arguably the green line, really, is blocking us from our upward movement. It's acting as resistance. So yes, while we are traveling in this channel, you have to consider that as well, and that this line right here is blocking our movement from traveling this way. The green line here is blocking our movement from traveling upwards. So we got a lot of stuff going on here. Could see a breakout initially up to about 82-ish, 85, 82. But, and maybe a little bit of a pullback there. But I believe that will continue up to the top of the channel, the blue parallel channel, because that's what the green line is doing. Green line is blocking our resistance. Now, that's a much bigger triangle there, consolidation. So when we do that, maybe could be later on in July. So that makes a lot of sense. That first, now what has happened with, let's get rid of these lines for a sec. All right, so we have more lines pulled up. So there's a triangular pattern here that we fell out to the downside initially. And maybe that was the extent of it. But a lot of times when we have especially like a symmetrical triangle, we tend to fall out the bottom sometimes and hook around the nose of it and then back upwards. And that's kind of what we're doing here. So, like I said, the target of that upwards movement would be somewhere along the dash center line here. Possibly, up around mid 80s, approaching 85, not quite getting there. Heading into the FOMC meeting. Do we see that? Now, if we did see that, we'd be breaking this much larger ascending triangle pattern. And I don't see us just coming all the way up here without coming down and retesting the top. I expect a retest of the top of this triangle, either at the green line or one of these various horizontal levels of resistance in red here. Either at 71.7, 72.7, or whatever that's at, 73. I guess they're all like 73.7, something like that. So I definitely would expect a retest of those. If we don't get them initially, we could come all the way up to like 80, almost in the lower portion, 80 to 85 region, and then come back down and retest that. But we won't know. It depends on macroeconomic conditions and a lot of other stuff. Ultimately, Bitcoin's getting bought up by everybody, so it's going to be really hard to see these pull downs. But who knows? Yeah, I mean, even though it's getting bought up by everybody, a lot of things can scare all those people too. So it could get all those people could sell too. But currently, right now, we're heading upwards, and it looks like over the course of the next week, pulling up all. Oh my God, I got the Gaussian channel turned on too. I don't need that on. Let's turn that guy off. Looking at all our channels here on the daily time frame, heading into the FOMC meeting next week, that we do continue upwards in this finely tuned channel, which is bringing us upwards in the fuchsia colored channel and upwards across our most important channel in Bitcoin's history through our horizontal levels of resistance at 71.7, 72.7, and 73.7. That's really kind of weird. But the ultimate resistance, our most recent local high, is our all-time high, 73.7-ish, whatever. Also is the center line of the most important channel in Bitcoin's history. It's so can we get above that before the meeting? Possibly we do. We continue upwards in this channel, and maybe the pink channel, the fuchsia colored channel, acts as resistance heading towards the meeting. It brings us across here as we're heading up 73, 74, 75, and then we get that retest heading into the meeting. We get the retest to the top of the 73, and then blast off from there. So let's leave it at that, and like, subscribe, and see you next time.